and welcome to this week's special presentation. My name is Jim Penna, Manager of Retirement Services here at VectorVest, and I'm happy to be presenting this week's topic, which is titled The Sixth Secret, Stay Informed. The infamous and fictitious Gordon Gekko from the classic movie Wall Street once said that the most valuable commodity I know of is information. So periodically here, using our special presentation platform, we like to individually revisit the 7 secrets. I believe that secret number 6 is important now given the uncertainty in the market. And of course, taken from the timeless and invaluable presentation given over the years from our founder and mentor, Dr. Bartolito, the 7 secrets to making money with VectorVest. Way back in January of 2020, I hosted a special presentation called Climbing the Wall of Worry. And at the time, the market was moving higher and higher from an October of 2019 low to the date of that presentation, which was January 17th, 2020. And I talked about the fact that many investors have heard the phrase climbing the wall of worry. Informally, that phrase is defined as the time when uncertainty begins as to the sustainability of a market uptrend. However, those same investors often have difficulty identifying whether the market will continue climbing the wall of worry or if fear is justified because that upward movement is nearing an end. Now, we're in a little different situation than we were then, as we are now in a confirmed down call, but just 2 weeks ago, the VectorVest composite hit an all-time high. So now more than ever, we still have the need to stay informed because we know that over the years, when we allow emotions to guide your investment decisions, performance tends to suffer. So we're going to allow the objective and time-tested indicators and information in the VectorVest program to point the way. So my objective then, as it is today, is to convey to you the importance of the information provided in the VectorVest program when it comes time to decide, is it a wall of worry that will continue to be climbed successfully? Or is it time to be fearful? Now, it's not for VectorVest and certainly not for me to predict where the market will go next, but we can recognize short, intermediate, and long-term trends in the market that will help put you on the right side of the market. Now, there are numerous places in the program we can go for that valuable commodity known as information using those objective and time-tested indicators and resources that I mentioned earlier. And let me just list those here for you. First is the daily color guard report along with the daily views. So each and every day we can get an in-the-moment view of what the short-term market is telling us as well as the intermediate and longer-term trends. And we get a great synopsis each Monday through Thursday in our daily newsletter. I'll then segue into the Friday views, which the Friday extended newsletter goes deeper into both the current and more macro views of what the market's doing and what our indicators are telling us. I'll talk a bit about special presentations and how you can go back. We have them all archived for you, so any topic that you want to go back and look at, I'll show you how to do that. And then I'll talk about our educational webcasts that you also have access to. All of these things with the sole purpose of keeping you informed and not allowing emotions to dictate your investment style. And so I'll jump into the program here and get just a perfect example of why it's so important to track the important information, starting here with the color guard. Now, as I record just minutes ago, all of the major indexes and the VectorVest composite were in the green. And as I just started the recording, we are now all in the red across the board with the relative timing indicator staying flat as we speak, but the price and the buy-sell ratio are now in the red. Now, on the home page here, we have the market timing gauge and then the color guard down below. This is very important information to understand where the market is and how we can make our decisions based on this. In fact, it's secret number 3 of the 7 secrets is heed the color guard, which tells us right now that the color guard is somewhat bearish and that VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. Down below in the color guard is where we house the important components of price, relative timing, and the buy-sell ratio as they relate to the VectorVest composite price. We track these day over day and week over week so we can recognize those short, intermediate, and long-term trends of the market. All valuable information, whether you're a short-term swing trader or more conservative and prudent managing your retirement portfolio. I can click here on the little wrench here, and you'll see it can give us an extended view of the color guard right on the home page here, and I can get a good sense not only over the last trading week but over the last 3 weeks of where the market has been and where it's heading now. Also, an important way to stay informed on what the market is doing each and every day, Monday through Thursday, if you click in the strategy section under watch the video, you'll see we have our daily color guard report every Monday through Thursday. Someone from the education department will actually walk through each and every indicator and analyze where the current market is and what the VectorVest program is telling us about the current market condition. Next on the list was the daily views. So from here I'm going to go to the main toolbar and I'm going to choose the views tab, which will take us into the timing section. As we do every Monday through Thursday, the VectorVest daily views will walk through the analysis portion. When you read through this, it will tell you why each color guard tile is the color it is. So very important information there. We'll then give a summary of what the current market condition is. Again, for yesterday, July the 15th, we had 3 red lights. The color guard was bearish. The price of the composite moving lower on a week-to-week basis, and the MTI below 1, we had a down situation. So that gives us that look at what the current market condition is here. And again, we have the extended view, and then the next important portion is the strategy section. It gives a quick synopsis of what the market did. We'll tell prudent investors at this point should not buy stocks at this time. Aggressive investors should play the market with a bias to the downside. More great information follows here in today's Derby winners and the last 5-day Derby winners. Some great information to understand the trend of the market by seeing what type of searches are performing. Now, as of yesterday's close, the 5-day and 1-day searches were all bearish. A great indication of where the market's been. And so for those easy rider folks who may follow that process, what we like to do is see searches that are on both the 1 and 5-day winners that match, so that if there's follow through the next day to the downside, you can find some good candidates. And here there happens to be, I believe, 4 of 5 of the searches are on both the 1 and 5-day winners. So there's great information to be found on a daily basis in both the daily color guard report and the daily views. Next, let's talk about the Friday views, or our extended newsletter that we see every Friday. So I'm going to take us back to just last week's. This is January 9th. When I click OK, it'll give us the extended newsletter that we have every Friday. It begins with an overview, some important contact numbers and emails. One of the pieces of information on our initial list there was the educational webcasts. So in the Friday views, you'll see also on the home page, you'll have a gadget box there that will get you to any of the webcasts or educational webcasts that we have. So you can click here, register and join. It will then give the market in review. And in the overview section, we have the great essays that Angie Akers has been writing, just invaluable insights into the market and how to use VectorVest to navigate the different market conditions and how to find the right stock. So there's always great information in the essays each week. You have the earnings update. Each and every week we take a look at the earnings update, and I'll go into the market climate graph to take a closer look at that in a moment. But great information once again to get a sense of the more macro view of what the market is doing. One of the most important sections, and usually the first one I'll click on when I open up my Friday views, is the strategy section. So if I scroll to the top, and again in that drop down box you can go right directly to each section, and in the strategy section it will give a quick synopsis of the market and what it did for the week, and then a quick review of what to look out for as the coming week arrives. So this was last Friday's strategy section, and it told us that all of our other key market indicators, the buy-sell ratio, relative timing, and MTI, all closed lower. Nevertheless, we'll need to see the price of the composite move lower for one more week to give us a preliminary signal of a sustainable downtrend. In other words, the next step to the confirmed down that we finally saw. And so the advice or the the direction given for prudent investors was to not buy stocks at this time. Aggressive investors and traders to play the market as it develops. If I take us back to the prior week, back to Friday, July 2nd, we saw some great guidance here as well. It talked about the price of the composite was higher over the last 5 trading days, and that it had gained 14 cents and it was moving up. The primary wave remained up. But here's where the great insight comes, and this happens every Friday. However, as the price of the composite hit a new high today, our other indicators, the buy-sell ratio, relative timing, and the MTI all closed lower from 5 trading days ago. This bearish divergence suggests that downside risk outweighs upside potential. Indecision and volatility still reign, so stay tuned for the enhanced daily color guard report to stay informed in the week ahead. For now, with one green light in an up situation, prudent investors should buy stocks only when the market's moving higher. And as we know, it's just 2 weeks later now. That downside risk did in fact outweigh the upside potential. If I go to a graphs tab, and I'll just take us to a 3-month look at the VectorVest composite, we can see the composite on that Friday had actually hit what at the time was an all-time high on the VectorVest composite. But we saw all of our important indicators down below were moving lower on that divergence, that bearish divergence that was talked about. So even though the market was hitting a new high, the guidance you received from the VectorVest program by staying informed told you to use caution, advised you to use caution based on these VectorVest indicators. And we can see what's happened since in the last week or two in the VectorVest composite and in the overall market. And if I can for a moment, I'm going to go ahead and stretch out this market timing graph and take us back to that January situation that I talked about in the Climbing the Wall of Worry presentation that I had done back in January. And so if I continue to come out this way, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and we saw that we had a low in October of 2019, and we saw that the market from that low just began to move higher, a melt up as they were calling it at the time. And the market continued to rise, and at that point had hit another high for the VectorVest composite. And so the market continued to rise, and the presentation I gave was aimed at saying, okay, at what point do we become nervous here? At what point do we become defensive? And so that presentation was given on January 17th. And the beautiful thing about the views is I can go back and see what we were saying about the overall market back on January the 17th of 2020. I can simply click in the date box, set my date to January 17th, and this was the very day I gave that presentation. And in the strategy section, it talked about what the market had done all week. All of our other indicators, the buy-sell ratio, RT, and the MTI, also moved higher when compared to their levels last week. But again, here comes the guidance. However, the buy-sell ratio closed lower while the price of the composite moved higher. The MTI is above its historically overbought level, and the 3 of our one-day Derby winners were bearish. These are not good signs. With one green light and an up situation, we're still bullish, but cautiously so. And so when I go back to the graph, you'll see what happened. We did stay up there. We pulled back. It did manage to hit another high, but we continued to talk about caution. And then we know what happened in February of 2020. Well, we weren't predicting the size of that movement to the downside. The VectorVest program had you prepared as we move towards that downtrend. One of our signals that's not on the homepage, the DEW, in fact, the DEW timing system, had us being defensive as early as February the 24th of 2020, and that would have been a great time to tighten stops, use put options as a hedge for your portfolio, and we can see again the power of the guidance from the VectorVest views. So moving back to current times, moving forward is what's important here. I can show you countless times where the guidance in the VectorVest program would have helped tremendously in the management of your portfolio, again, whether you're a short-term trader or a retirement-minded investor. If I come over to the market timing graph, another thing I'd like to share again for a more macro view of the overall climate of the economic factors that affect the prices in the market. We have our market climate graph. We have our earnings per share for the S&P 500. It's a 50-day moving average of earnings per share. We can see earnings currently are rising. The earnings trend indicator on the VectorVest 0 to 2 scale is well above 1 and also rising. But what we also see is CPI, CRB numbers also moving higher. So as we know, inflation is an issue and a big cause of a lot of the uncertainty that we see. You can add parameters here. There's corporate bonds, T-bills, all kinds of information that you can add to the graph here and get, again, some great macro view of the overall economy and the overall market. Which leads me back to the main toolbar. And again, I'm going to go to the Views tab. And in the Views tab, again, we have a long history of the VectorVest views, and you can go back years. What we also have in the menu in the upper left corner is the ability to go back and look up essays or the strategy of the week viewer, the special presentations. And it's here we can go back, and these are archived back over 25 years. These are archived back, and you can find any strategy of the week, any topic that you might be interested in. If I begin to scroll down here, you'll see, I wanted to highlight a couple of these just to show how to get there. You'll see Climbing the Wall of Worry was the past presentation I referenced today, and if you click or just scroll down just a few weeks earlier, if you're interested in watching the 7 secrets to making money with VectorVest, my friend and colleague Mr. Steve Chappell did a great job of presenting the 7 secrets to making money with VectorVest, and again, just all of the educational presentations here is a great way to stay informed. So again, there is the list of the resources at your fingertips using the VectorVest program so that you can abide by the 6th secret, which is stay informed. So my objective then, as it was today, was to convey to you the importance of the information provided in the VectorVest program and that it is critical to your success when it comes to managing your investment portfolio and your net worth. So thank you for taking the time. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.